So, Kolja, you walked 900 miles to get here. How does it feel?
Yeah, those are mixed feelings. So, for my part, I'm kind of relieved that this is over, but having in mind the purpose of my walk, it is one of another sad days, because we were standing in freedom in front of the prison where Julian Assange is held, and he was inside, and we couldn't reach out to him. We didn't know if he hears our shouting. So yeah, mixed feelings.
Now, can you think back to when you started from Hamburg? What were your feelings then?
Oh well, I really have to think along on this one. It was pretty exciting to start. That was the major feeling. I was pretty excited and didn't sleep well because of the whole excitement, and then my son was with me. We had to arrive at a certain time, and all the stress. I can handle the stress much better now, so I kind of learned that all these appointments make us, or at least me, but I projected on the society that this stresses us out a lot. So making those appointments, taking trains or cars and all those things which we don't really need. We actually need just a little bit of food, warm clothes or protective clothes, and a place where we can stay. This is the knowledge I gained in my journey.
So what did the stress
next time we'll go somewhere to have a drink.
Oh yeah, inshallah.
Yeah?
The stress is being somewhere at a certain place. This what makes all this needed, all these buses and cars that all this stress out in traffic jams or wherever. I think so. I had an experience. I had to be on a meeting. And there was a meeting set up once a month in the three corners and three countries corner, where Belgium, Netherlands, and Germany meet. And we tried to get there, and we had to run to take the train. The lift broke down, so we had to pull my car, this heavy thing, up the stairs, and getting another train, and then running up a hill. And those kind of obligations to be somewhere at a certain point of time that really stressed us out. So we kind of, the next 2 days we were pretty done. I don't know how else to say it. It was difficult to go on in the next 2 days because of the stress and the physical activity we were engaged. My girlfriend had me. No, she was with me in this time. Yeah, well, so.
Are you happy now that it's over?
Well, as I told in the beginning, it's a mixed feeling. I know this fight, I mean it not literally, not the physical fight, but our fight for Julian's freedom, and actually for our freedom, because this is one of the greatest symbols of a free press. And so this fight with words and political actions will go on for hopefully not a long time, but it does represent a system which we are fighting.
I guess you must be pissed off with the mainstream media.
Oh, I'm not pissed off. It's a shame. So, well, how I don't know how those people can stand it. How can you work for this media? Why? There were only 3 reports from the mainstream media, and those were the first major cities. So, oh, wait a second. So during my walk, I learned that there is a D order, which says to the media not to report on things.
Yep.
And why would you accept a thing like this? Why this is the whole issue of free media, that you just report and don't accept the given from the powerful or mighty or rich or...
Did you experience that in Germany? D-notice? How did it work?
This was my expectation. So the first major 3 cities reported on it. Not even the major. So those were regional newspapers would take an interview for 1.5 hours, where I would talk about all these atrocities and how important this is, and that there were assassination plans, and like, this is cruel stuff, and they haven't wrote anything about it. They wrote, yeah, the Bundestag now supports with 80 members of the Bundestag, so it's the German parliament actually. They support now Julian Assange, but they wouldn't report all those cruel and illegal things which those agencies carry out, so secret services and stuff. Well,
did you find that the normal people who you met on the street, how do you compare them to the establishment of the media, for instance?
Well, let me first finish the D-notice. So after those 3 who wouldn't report properly but still would of my walk, they actually did it, and then there was maybe this was the cause, I don't know, but there was an article on a major alternative media, I call them free media, so supported by the people giving small amount of money so they can continue the work. There was an article on my walk, and after this, I don't know why, but there was no not even an answer from the mainstream media to report on this. So I had a woman who helped me to write to the media, mainstream media, but they wouldn't even reply. I don't know if this was the cause of the article, but actually this happened. So I actually think this what happened, that the D order came in and they wouldn't be allowed to report. Or maybe it wasn't interesting enough that a donkey is pulling a cart 900 miles to Belmarsh prison. I don't know. Maybe it's that, maybe the other. But I really think this is a shame for the mainstream media and the journalists working on it. So not everybody, I know there are people trying to, but there are rejectionists who would say no, we need the place for another thing. And to the question of the people, the most of us are not informed. So this was one of the major things or reasons why I started to walk, to inform us actually that this is crucial to a democracy, to have a control over wrongdoings. And this information, which was published by WikiLeaks, actually is 100% correct. And why would the journalist who made this all possible be imprisoned while there aren't even accusations to those war criminals. So there were some, and they were declined, the soldiers who went through the press. But the crime in itself was to go to Iraq or Afghanistan. So the United Nations Council didn't allow the Americans to invade Iraq. It was allowed to protect themselves, but this didn't allow to invade Iraq. But still, it was done. Almost the whole European continent had troops in Afghanistan. So why don't we hold those people accountable for which was done to the Afghan people, and also our brothers and sisters who joined the army, or we who support our governments and their decisions with our taxes.
Did you find normal people who you met on the way, did you find them sympathetic to you?
So those few who knew mostly were. There are some people who were misinformed by this so-called media, so-called mainstream media, who still believe he's a sexual abuser or something that was spread amongst those media. And Niels Melzer is a good source to work these things out. One could inform oneself, and I try to give the people the information so they can inform themselves and then make a informed decision. Right, and so
did it work?
yes, I hope at least. So one needs to evaluate things, but in the personal contact I had positive resonance, and people started thinking that this was so important to me, so I started the walk, and so they kind of spent a thought on this issue, and maybe later on. So, and there was a great support, so people understood. So if one walks, maybe he'll need a drink and or something to eat, and they really were supportive also in this way. And some people offered to stay overnight, even if they didn't knew about the issue. But still, if somebody is walking, they kind of understood. Oh wow, you must be need a shower, or I don't know. Yeah. Then there was great support, really. So
That's lovely.
rarely, but there was.
It's a funny one. It's kind of people are okay, governments are not okay. Is my
Yeah. Basically, we are pretty social beings, humans. So we are social animals, or whatever you call it, and we need each other, and we need to trust each other. And once again, Julian Assange tried to establish a system where we can actually trust the government not to commit crimes, and if they do crimes, they need to be made responsible. Right? Yeah. Actually, that's it. People do work together.
What advice would you offer to somebody else who thinks they would like to do something similar to what you've done?
Well, start doing it. Well, this is what matters. I had this idea for maybe a year, so I visited a weekly vigil in Hamburg and was thinking what would be the possibilities to raise attention to the case, to how important it is, and started after it really got political, after Priti Patel had to decide, and so this really was necessary to raise public's voice. Public opinion is one of the major things which could turn the whole thing, and that what the mainstream media tried to establish, like making him the bad guy who does bad stuff. And so I try to go house to house, what's kind of,
it's a big thing to do.
Yeah, no, I didn't go house to house, but I tried to make a presence to be there for the people if they want the information, so I could give them the right way where to search or what to read. And,
what would you like to say to us here?
Thank you all of you who worked in the past, all these revolutions who made things possible. I hope this time this will be a evolution. So take the red, the R, taking the R, the red out of the revolution, the blood, and let's do it with words. I'm so thankful for the past generation and still the people who are trying to make society possible in a way that suits the most people. And thank you for all the people who supported me and support Julian especially. So this was all for Julian and for us and for my kids, for my son, for me too. I would really love to live in a society where one could speak out what is important. Keep on the fight. Start your movements. Do it.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
It's good to be